Please work. Please work. It works. Ay, ay, ay. The internet. A wonderful thing when it works.
Hello.
Hello.
Good.
Josh, can I say I am very impressed that you put in the extra effort and upped your grade for your European countries. Well done.
Oh, thank you.
Hello.
Hi, Elena.
Hello.
Hello, Elena.
Finally, Mr. Hendro. I was like spending like a lot of time like logging in, and it's like
Yup.
your host is anything like that. And finally, I can finally log in.
I had no idea. I had the room open and none of you were showing up. So I don't know. I've made a new room and it seems to have worked. I am so sorry about that. Okay, so moving on from there. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm missing Caleb. Anyone else?
Joey. And then the
No,
right.
Joey's in. Joey's in.
Someone Johan.
Johan is in.
YH. Okay. All right. Okay. So firstly, for those of you who've done the European test, the European homework, good job. I just realized that I have not put up the assignment for this week. So I was going to start with a question. Why is Singapore there?
What?
Singapore, where?
Why is there a Singapore? Why is it not part of Malaysia?
I don't know.
You
I
don't
have
know.
no idea.
You have no idea.
I have no idea.
Okay. I have not done any research on this. This is just what I remember. From what I understand, back in, I think it might have even been before the 60s, Singapore was one of the worst places on earth.
Really?
Yeah, it was very poor. Think of it as a, you know how, think of a suburb of Jakarta, but in the middle of a swamp.
I don't know how that works.
Think of like a kampung in a swamp. That's Singapore. At least that's my understanding of what it was like there. Not a good. Yes, you still had some places like some leftover heritage from the British, but it was not the best place to be. So why do you have a Singapore today? Anybody?
Sorry, what's the question?
Why do we have a Singapore? Why is it? When did it become a country?
Actually, it wasn't a country. Somebody found it. It's like the king just found it.
Yeah, but when did it actually become a country?
1965, August 9th.
Okay, 1965 is the proclamation of Singapore, but you had the Malaysia Agreement in 1963. Basically, Malaysia said, we're giving up this particular region. Okay, so when you had the Malaysia Agreement, Malaysia basically said, this is what's going to be Malaysia, but we don't want Singapore.
Why?
Don't know. They basically said, we don't want that part of we don't want that little section. I bet you they're wishing they'd made a different decision today.
Yeah.
Would you prefer to live in Singapore or Malaysia?
Singapore.
Right. So I think the decision to leave Singapore out of Malaysia for the Malaysians was a bad decision. But that's how it became Singapore. When Malaysia...
How did
what?
How did Singapore got its name?
Singa means lion, and I'm sure por means like mermaid or something, so it's like mer-lion.
Merlion.
Yep. My understanding is that the Malaysia agreement basically said we want Malaysia to be Muslim. So because there's not a huge Muslim population in Singapore, it's mostly Chinese, let's leave it as that, and we'll leave that. We don't really want that Chinese section. That's my understanding, but that's kind of biased because, you know, I've got Chinese history.
But like in Singapore, there is like so many different people from many different countries. Like there's from India, Indonesian, Philippines, and yeah, some of those. Yeah.
There's quite a few white people that live in Singapore as well, but
Yeah, Americans.
Yeah, British actually
British.
as well, because it used to be a British colony.
Ah, yeah.
So you know, have you heard the guy Raffles?
I think
Yeah.
I heard it.
Like
Yeah.
Raffles Place, Raffles Boulevard, all that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, he used to be
That's
the
like
guy.
the hospital thing.
Yeah, he's the guy that was. He was the guy that was in charge. He was the guy that was in charge of Singapore.
Mm.
Interestingly, also that Raffles guy was also the governor of Java for a while during the Napoleonic Wars. But that's by the by. So I'm looking for something like that story. How did Singapore become a country, as opposed to what theoretically it should have been part of Malaysia? I mean, it's connected by a land bridge. You can take a train from Malaysia to Singapore. It's almost cultural. It's very culturally similar in terms of when traveling to KL and Singapore, it didn't feel a huge amount of difference.
You can also ride a bus.
Right. However, there are obviously some differences, but the way it becomes that way, and it's a small country by itself, is interesting. Why do small countries not become part of bigger countries? You could very well have Singapore as the capital of Malaysia in a different history. If in 1963 the Malaysians said, yes, we're taking Singapore as well, you'd have a completely different history of Singapore. So, going to the assignment that we're going to be doing, what is the history for the places that we're looking at, these tiny, tiny little countries? How do you get Andorra? How do you get Monaco and all that? So I'm going to switch over to our geography class. There's some small countries. Okay, so I'm going to go to this particular page here. Okay, so over here, Elena's doing Malta, Caleb's doing San Marino, Yunjun's doing Monaco, Sanghun's doing Vatican City. What is everybody else doing? Hurim, which country are you going to be looking at?
I'm not sure yet.
I thought it was like. I thought you said 3 limits.
What do you mean 3 limits? Yeah, three people per country. So you can have to wait till other people choose. What would you like to do, Josh?
I want to do German, but it's big. But
yeah, don't do Germany. Luxembourg, Liechtenstein.
Liechtenstein is interesting, but I'll choose Monaco.
Okay, Joshua, Monaco. Okay. Minso?
Can I go with? Can I
Sorry, who was that?
Luke.
go with Andorra?
Okay, Luke's going with Andorra. Minso?
I'm not sure yet.
Why not sure? Joey?
Oh,
What is it? The smallest one, which is
No, it's not the smallest one. You're going to be doing a history of why these places are so small. Like it's kind of weird. I mean, why do you have a Liechtenstein?
Sorry, Mr. Hendrik, can I change?
I'll do San Marino.
Where do you want to go?
San Marino.
You want to do San Marino? What did you want to change to, Josh?
Liechtenstein.
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 Yeah. If you've ever watched the movie First Night, there's a character that's supposed to be from there. Chloe's Andorra. Okay.
I will go with San Marino.
Who's Minso is doing? You want to do San Marino?
Yeah.
Okay. San Marino is now no longer doable. You have 3 people doing San Marino.
There's
Okay.
2 Minso in there.
Yep.
Okay. What are you choosing, Yehuan?
Huh?
What are you choosing, Yehuan?
Wait, let me see.
I'll read out the 7 countries again. You have Malta, San Marino, Monaco, Andorra, Vatican City, Liechtenstein, and South Ossetia.
Which one is not available, you said?
Wait.
San Marino, there's 3 people that have done it.
Then I'll just do Andorra.
Okay.
Andorra.
All right.
Wait. Can I do Monaco?
Who is that?
Me.
Who's me? I need a name.
Minso.
Minzo.
Enzo. You want to do Monaco, do you? Come on. All right. Kurim, you need to pick.
Hang on a second. Can I go with South Ossetia?
Ossetia, yes, that's one's actually very recent. That's still a problem today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 10 people in here. Who am I missing?
Sanghun.
Sanghun.
Oh yeah.
And that's it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll leave that as that. And I'm going to control copy this. And I will start a new question. All right. Let's create a question assignment. What is why is not why. Why are these small? Why is the small country? So why does this small country exist? What is its history? Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna create this, and I will add the. I don't want to add that. Where's the button? Ah, it's behind your faces. Okay. So you can reply to each other. I'm going to make this a bit better because there should have been. Yeah. Wait. And I want to edit the question. Edit. There we go. And the grading's in there. Save. That's it. That's your job for this week.
This week.
Basically, I want you to go through history. I want you to have a look at why these places exist. These places don't just happen. You don't go, let's make a Singapore. You don't
we
just
start in the beginning.
You don't have to go
Do we
all the
start
way.
in the beginning?
You don't have to go all the way back to the beginning. I mean, your question's kind of similar to a thing like, why is there a Wesley? Why is there an international school in Malang? Does any of you know the history of Wesley?
I know.
Wesley John. John Wesley.
I know
Sorry?
that. I know who's John Wesley.
Okay, so Wesley School is named after John Wesley, but that's not why it's there. So Wesley School came about in the 1970s.
I knew that.
Okay, why did it happen?
Because Aunt Marilyn wants it.
No, she wasn't the first teacher there.
Really?
I'm telling you, she wasn't the first teacher there. She came in the 80s. So she was the second
Miss
batch.
Deborah?
Miss Deborah and Aunt Marilyn were from the 80s.
So she passed away, or?
No. Deborah and Marilyn are still alive as far as I know. Deborah, I think, is Aunt Debbie is still teaching in Mozambique now.
Whoa.
So what were the students? Who were the students? The students back in the 70s were all missionary students.
Yeah.
It was a very, very white school. You didn't have any Koreans there.
Wow.
And that was true even into the 90s. You had some Korean students, but the majority of the students there were Western. You had like 80, 90% Western students. There was one Japanese family. There was a time in Wesley history where there were more Japanese students than Korean.
Wow.
But that was a long time ago. So if the background to why Wesley exists is because there was a community of missionaries that wanted to have their kids sent to school, that's kind of the background history, and that affects what Wesley is like today. This is why we have cheaper rates for people who are missionary families. How many of you are missionary families?
Me.
Joey, raise your hand. Your father's a... Goodness, that looks weird. Okay, so there's a bunch of people here whose families are in ministry. So you've got maybe half the class are in the mission field. So that's part of a big characteristic of what Wesley School is like. The countries that you look at will have a similar type of story to tell. So Liechtenstein, for example, who's doing Liechtenstein?
Me.
Okay.
I'm very sad.
Yeah, Liechtenstein is very unusual because it is still a sovereign kingdom. Monaco is also a sovereign kingdom. Like they still have a royal family. Okay, so that makes a big difference. If you look at Malta, who's doing Malta?
Me.
Yeah, so this is Malta's history. Is the people that founded it and made Malta are, I think, are the Knights Templar. So they built it as a staging point going on crusades. So do you think it's going to be more Protestant or more Catholic?
I think it's gonna be more Catholic, I guess.
Yep, Catholics were the sort of guys that would dress up in suits of armor and attack people in the Middle East, mainly because the Protestants didn't exist back then. Okay.
That's absolutely right.
Let's see if we can have a look at. I actually have no idea why Andorra is the way it is. Kurim, you've got an interesting one in South Ossetia, because South Ossetia, not everybody thinks it's a country. Russia says it's a country. Georgia says no. So that's
Georgie.
Hmm?
Georgie. Georgie said
Georgia.
no.
Georgia.
Oh.
And not the state in America, the country Georgia.
Oh. I thought you said Georgie. Or George.
Georgia.
In the gorilla, the white one.
Okay. So the last little bit for your, so don't really worry about doing the comments yet, but if you do end up doing the comments, it's not going to be an I agree or disagree. It's going to be more along the lines of, that's good research, that's fantastic, I love how you did your MLA, or that sort of thing. Just make sure you read other people's stuff. Okay? Nobody's stuck with Vatican City. Why?
Because it's obvious.
We just did it.
Yeah, but why is Vatican City a city? I mean a country. Why is it not just part of Rome? It's not as if you have a special country just for the Baptist Union in America. I mean, you could say that Salt Lake City is a Mormon country, Utah being the Mormon country in America.
No.
What's that?
Okay. Okay. I'm going to let you guys get started on this, and we'll bring some information on Wednesday. Okay.
When did
On Wednesday, I want you to bring at least one historical event that led to why your country exists. Okay?
Got it.
Okay then. Sorry about the technical trouble. We'll be using this number from now on. Okay. Miss you guys a lot.
Say bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Joey, don't go anywhere. Joey, don't go anywhere. Joey, you still there?
Why?
Can I get you? Are you going to be doing
Scorpio.
your? Are you going to be doing your your?
Europe Sporkle.
You've done the you. No. It's last week's discussion post.
What's that?
The one where what's the smallest country in Europe? I don't think you've written an answer to that.
No.
Could you do that now, and I'll wait for you, like in the next 5 minutes? Write something.
I don't know what to write.
So what do you think is the smallest country in Europe?
What is it? Vatican City.
The Vatican City. So I'm going to
Yeah.
open up your section. I'm going to make a private comment down on the bottom. And you just said Vatican City. Why do you think that's the smallest country?
Wait a minute. I do not exactly know.
But why do you say it's the smallest country? What you must have come up with the idea somewhere. Did you just type it into Google?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's the weird thing. Americans come from. Where do Americans come from?
From America.
Where do Australians come from?
From Australia.
Where do Koreans come from?
From Korea.
Where do Vaticanians come from?
From Europe.
It's a trick question. There's no such thing as a Vaticanian. Nobody is born in Vatican City.
Oh.
The entire country has no hospitals. If you need to go to the hospital, you go out of Vatican City and go to Rome. Nobody's born in Vatican City.
Oh.
there is no such thing as somebody that lives their entire life in Vatican. It's not possible. Nobody who has a Vatican passport has just a Vatican passport. So the person who's currently in charge of Vatican City, their Pope, is Pope Francis.
Yeah.
I think he's Argentinian. He's not Vaticanian. Okay, so that's my question. What makes a country a country? Do you need to have people born there?
No.
Really? So you could have a country of people not born there. Okay. So
Okay.
I need you to find somewhere that talks about small countries in Europe. Find a website, find an atlas, find something that says Vatican City is the smallest country in Europe. And why? Is it
Okay.
because of the area or the population?
Because it says they actually measured it.
Yeah, so that's the area. But I would say that Vatican City doesn't count as a country because it doesn't have a Vatican people. It's like a country of diplomats.
And why did they make the country?
Ah, that's an interesting question. That's why Vatican City would be a very interesting country to study. Why does it even exist? It's the most non-country-like country that counts as a country. There are no schools. There are no, every single piece of infrastructure, electricity, telephone lines, internet, sewage, everything is run through Italy.
Like,
Hello?
oh, I'm back. Wait, my internet connection is so bad.
Okay. So can you just tell me what you found when you typed in smallest country in Europe into your Google?
The state of Vatican City is the smallest country in Europe and as well as in the world, both by size and population, with an area of around 0.17 square miles.
Okay. Where is that from? Is that from Wikipedia or is that from Britannica?
The 10th smallest country in Europe.
Okay. You cite that. Okay. Stick that in. Can you?
Okay.
Who wrote
Already
it?
got it in.
You've already.
Who wrote it?
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna F5 and refresh this to make sure that you're getting it good. Okay, I can't see anything in your submission yet.
Yeah.
Okay. If you've got that, it doesn't need to be brilliant. It really just needs to be in at this stage. And you need to comment on somebody else's post, at least one other person's post. You got it?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. I'll let you continue doing that. You've got your next class and you need to have some time to have lunch. So.
Thank you.
No worries.
I'll finish this today.
Yep. So if I've got this thing, Vatican City, population. Sorry, I'll have to edit this. Edit population and area. Okay. So you have an argument, you have a contention, and you have a source. That'll get you at least 40 points. Okay. So you have something there. I can grade this if I have to, but please put in a real one and comment on other people's work because you should be able to get quite a high grade for this. Okay. Okay, Joey. I'm gonna let you go now.
Thank you.
Okay.